Hi, everybody.
Hi! Welcome to the Stream of Truth. I am Dr. Tassel Faith Shamebrook.
And I'm Sean Kelly.
And today, what an amazing, exciting, juicy topic that I think we're all interested in. How to know if your manifestations are working. I want to know.
I want to know too. I think a lot of us. I think a lot of us just wonder, like, am I doing it? Is it working? Is manifestation working? Are the things that I'm like intending going to come out and come forward and stuff like that? And so I think today, what we wanted to talk about is how to realize that your manifestations are already working. And then what I think our main thing to do with that, or our main objective with that is to help us see what about our manifestations are coming true and how that's working, so that we can build faith in the process itself. Because I think when we first realize it, there's a part of us, I think, that doubts a lot of it. And so what I think we're trying to do is dissolve that doubt by showing the successful manifestations. In both the positive and the negative, if we can. In little examples in that way. And so we'll talk about sort of our process to do that, I think, and then we'll go into some of the examples and how the process might apply to those examples. And the process isn't like a step-by-step laid out thing that we've compiled. It's more going to be experiential based in how we both do that, if that makes sense.
And you have brought up such a good point when we were talking about this beforehand, that we can tend to think of manifesting as more in regards to these big things that we're manifesting in our lives, whether it's something in our career or our love life or something around our family. But the truth is, we are manifesting, good or bad, 24 hours a day. And so every single thing that comes into our reality is a match to the energy that we're holding around that topic. So we are just constantly manifesting, and just sort of being aware of that is really interesting. Mm-hmm. And I love just looking at the one-to-one correlation between the energy I'm holding around a certain topic and then what is coming in around that topic. And it's always a match.
Yep.
And one of the examples that I'll share a little later on is around how I experienced my birthday this year, which was a few days ago. And this is a really interesting example to me, I think, because I was holding really two different energies around it, sort of a more negative energy and a more positive, and that is exactly what I manifested.
You got a mixed experience.
I had a mixed experience.
Yeah.
So it's really enlightening just to see how it works, and there's always this direct match.
Yeah, so I'd like to just expand a little bit on the mixed experience.
Yeah.
If you're not resisting the experience itself, like, for example, as long as you know that you are going to have a birthday, it may go not so great, but you're accepting all of that. Mm-hmm. You can still hold a lot of the fear around it going poorly, and that stuff will manifest a mixed experience. If you're like resisting the fear, then it's possible that you won't even really have a positive. It'll just be more of like a meh. So it depends really on your sort of energy balance in what you're contributing to the manifestation. And the more pure the manifestation, the more accurately it will bring about, actually, generally speaking, it brings about a more ecstatic state than you thought it would if it were to come true. So, and that's something that you start to experience more of. You have more pure manifestation. So if you can think about some of the things that we've done, like we wanted to just randomly, we decided to go to Atlanta, was it?
Atlanta or St. Augustine?
We were going to St. Augustine, we stopped in Atlanta.
Okay.
And we decided to just get a hotel room, and everything just was smooth. And then the number on the room was 222. And there was just this very magical joy to it. And that's when we're not like resisting the manifestations, right?
Yeah, we didn't have, I think, a lot of expectations about it. Or
Good morning, everybody.
Fear. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Jamie! And Halloween hauntings. Awesome. Good morning.
Hawaiian hunting.
Oh, sorry.
I believe that's Joe.
Okay. Hi, Joe.
His name's Joe. So thank you for joining us. Hopefully you can listen, Jamie. If not, that's okay. Yeah, so I think maybe we could get started on just, I think, what the first step is.
Yeah.
To being able to do this properly, or do the tactic we're going to offer properly. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there are other ways to do this, but this is the way that I think is most helpful. And so you'll hear people talk about mindfulness and presence a lot. I guess the way that I can frame mindfulness and presence is the more present you are, the more light that in the moment you're observing. So if you think of your experience, your attention is generally in the now, or it's in the past or the future. The more light you're holding as you awaken, the more awareness you have. And if you can move yourself to the present moment, you have a much deeper awareness of everything that's occurring at any sensory level, including emotion and cognitive levels. Mm-hmm. But just because you're awakened and hold a lot more light and more awareness, and you can see more and experience more, doesn't mean you can't distract yourself with the past or the future. So, and I'm not suggesting you shouldn't visit those places. I'm just saying that there's a time for now and there's a time for later. But there's really no true difference. But anyways, when you're in the present moment, that's the first step. To be present with yourself as you're experiencing things, and just being very aware of how you're reacting to things, how everything is occurring, what smells remind you of what, thoughts that come in that are negative, see them and observe them. Don't discard them or toss them away before they're done their chatter. Hear what they say. Let them speak their energy. That's the way to help, not hold it, right? But basically you're paying attention, and you're paying attention by just being present. And so all those mindfulness techniques or mindfulness practices that, I ended up studying, 12 years ago or something, when I started to realize that I was like an anxious kind of mess, ended up precipitating my awakening. Not really contributing to it at all, because presence doesn't necessarily facilitate awakening. Presence is just sort of presence. But I learned how to be present, and then I woke up, and I had trouble not being present since waking up anyways. So it's difficult for me to go to the past and the future too much, and it was already prior to my awakening. And so I got pretty lucky in that regard. Oh, I wouldn't say it's luck, because I planned it that way. There's a reason that I learned mindfulness techniques, and part of it is because I wanted to make this video right now. So I learned these mindfulness techniques of presence, and those, I think, we could maybe share a few. What's your favorite technique to try to come to now?
Good question.
Some of them, they don't all resonate. So
for me,
everyone uses different ones.
It's tuning into the five senses. What am I seeing right now? What am I hearing right now? What am I possibly touching right now? Just tuning into what's going on around me right now. And then I do also love the I am presence practice. Just almost like just moving back as if you're zooming out in a movie, and just feeling this presence sort of in the back of my skull in a way, it feels like.
Yeah.
And just observing what my human is doing. Mm-hmm. Those two are probably my favorite.
Okay. Yeah. So one of my favorites is as well the senses. So smelling the smells very deeply. noticing if you're feeling like you need to rush something. So like I like to do it during activity. So like even thought or even like any work in consciousness, I like to do in a meditative state.
Mm-hmm.
And so the way that I do that is I sort of turn my attention as entirely as I can to the thing that I'm doing. So if I'm washing the dishes, I'll try to do this. I'm not consistent with it, and what's ended up happening though is I did that for years before, and so now I feel present almost all the time. I can listen to people talk and speak. I can do things, and I feel very present almost all the time. And that's the way that I did it. Is I applied a presence to everything. That I tried to apply the practice to everything because I wanted to be present always.
One of the little tips that has always rung in my ears about what you're saying is I used to think of doing things as sort of getting through them. Oh, I'll just get this over with so then I can do this. So
exactly.
if I'm doing the dishes, I'll just get this over with so I can do what I really need to do or what I really want. And I just love that practice of whatever I'm doing, being fully in that moment and seeing the purity and the bliss of whatever I'm doing as not something I'm getting through, but as something that is a beautiful activity in and of itself. This is my life right now. Every moment is my life right now, not the next moment after this.
Yeah, and then often too, we'll find that if we can do that, we're going to live a generally more peaceful life because we're not so anxious about the future because we don't travel there as much as well. So that's another side effect of this is that it can spiritually bypass in some ways. So you have to be aware that if you're always present in the moment, that's great, but you're going to have to really pay attention to the triggers that are approaching because those triggers are going to approach unconsciously because you're not really traveling to your anxieties or fears or your angers around the past. You're more present, you're at peace, but you hold that energy still. And so you have to sort of realize that doesn't mean you're not going to have to do the work still, the healing work, the self-healing.
But I think in a way you're much more open to it because you're not being distracted by the past or the future.
Exactly.
It's almost like we're sitting in a life classroom and we're present, we're paying attention to what's coming into us in the moment and able to reflect, expand, do whatever we need to do in that moment. And for me also what helps this practice is this affirmation, I trust life, that whatever I am currently being called to do, whatever is coming into me is perfect. I don't need to rush it. I don't need to worry about it. I can just be present and relax into whatever is currently happening. And that whatever else needs to happen, I will be made aware of that at the right time. Hi.
So this. I've been learning
practicing a little Japanese.
Learning a little bit of Japanese in preparation to our trip to Japan.
Well, we're going to Japan this summer with our work.
Yeah, that's our intent.
That's our intention.
All
right, so we're just to summarize, we're talking about how to know if your manifestations are working, and we're sharing that the first step is just to be present and notice what's happening between you and your current reality.
I would like to share that the summaries that Tassel gives are, they're meant to seem like they're for you, but I like to think that they're for me, and they're so helpful because I'm everywhere.
Because you're so present.
Yeah, because I'm so present. That's right.
Yeah, no, it's true.
It probably is actually.
And I'm probably a little less present, so I think about a few other things.
I can't hang on to the things.
Yeah.
Because, that's a whole other topic.
Okay, so step number 1 is being present.
Yeah.
What's step number 2 for how to know if your manifestations are working?
So the first thing, I just want to explain, I guess, the why for the mindfulness. The presence is what, I think I explained it a little bit, but the presence is what facilitates the attention and awareness on what's happening.
Yeah.
So you basically, in order to observe your manifestations at play and work, and to see that they're coming into fruition the way that is perfect, you need to be aware. and present. Otherwise, you're gonna miss all the signs. You're gonna miss all the emotions and thoughts and things. You're gonna miss all that because you're elsewhere.
It's almost like, I like this idea that we're scientists or detectives as observers of what is going on in our life.
Yeah.
And what you're saying is, when we're present, we have the space to, oh, look what's happening. This is interesting. Look what's coming in. Look what the energy I was holding about this. So just being a scientist in your own life.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Fun.
Exactly. That's exactly it. That's been my best trick for me. It may not resonate for everyone, but I have a very curious mind. And so if I can approach any situation with just really deep curiosity about it,
Yes.
and mystery about it, then a lot of the negativity that would have been there is gone. And just an example of that with sometimes Tassel's kids will get into sort of duels of their will, and an old version of me may have trouble sitting there with that, and that might be irritating or something like that. But now I just find it sort of, whoa, these kids are so passionate about like how the Monopoly board is placed,
Yes.
for example.
It's almost like we become a neutral observer.
Yeah.
And hold that curiosity. And that's something we talked a lot about in the communication videos we did last week.
Right, yeah.
The Imago method of just, instead of maybe judging each other, judging ourselves, just holding this stance of curiosity. So I think curiosity just runs through all these topics that we're talking about.
Yeah, and so then I guess it just becomes take note, start to make a set a conscious intention, literally, like maybe sit down in the morning when you first get up, just as a suggestion, spend just a minute and think, today I'm going to observe myself and observe my manifestations. I'm going to pay attention and notice when my energy draws to me that which is required for my evolution. If you set that intention right in the morning with some emotion and some real intent, your awareness is going to tune to that type of orientation. You're sort of casting a spell on yourself, and it's very effective. So if you start to just really move through life with the intention of doing that, it'll start to happen as your awareness is allowing for it. So based on your level of presence, you'll be able to be more and more, you'll get more and more information on that quest, right?
Yeah, or even setting one day of the week. Maybe it's the end of the week on Sunday, and just sort of thinking about what came into my reality, and do I see the correlation between the thoughts and the feelings and the energy I was holding around that topic.
Yeah.
And I think the answer to the question, how to know if your manifestations are working, they're always working.
Right. Well, that's
It's more that we're learning how to observe them, that they're working.
Right.
Always working.
We live in a very evidence-based reality, right? Our reality is very material and solid to us. That's our perception of it. We know that that's not truly how things are, but the rational mind will constantly point at the doubts or the ideas that things aren't working. And so what I think the intention of this video is to give the rational mind a couple of things to look at as far as evidence goes,
Yes.
which helps to build the faith and dissolve the doubt.
So that the rational mind could be a bit of a scientist.
Yeah.
And see the evidence.
Right.
Which is calming to the personality.
Yeah, it'll chill them out a bit.
Yeah.
Chill that part of us out a little bit. Be like, okay, it is happening. So you can start to do things like wake up and notice that the moment I awoke, this happened to me this morning, I was emotionally really raw. I didn't know I don't know if I had a dream or what, but I just woke up feeling very uncomfortable. As soon as I started to notice how just uncomfortable I am, I misread a text and triggered myself. I won't go into all the details, but basically in that moment, within a second or so of me feeling all this discomfort, something uncomfortable came right to me. Mm-hmm. And to elaborate on that, to make it the perfect uncomfortable catalyst, I had to entirely misread it, and like completely not even understanding what topic it was being talked about. So I was so consumed, I think, in negativity in the moment, that I just drew in this really negative catalyst. As soon as I saw that and realized my confusion, it was the perfect little catalyst, because I was like, oh, that's why I'm so raw. It's I pulled this thing right in. And so you can just watch these things happen all through your day, positive, negative, whatever. And that's basically...
And such a great practice, and I don't always do it, is as soon as you wake up to set your energy for the day. For instance, I love the energy of celebration. So just tuning into your inner being and feeling the energy of celebration. Wow, there's so much to celebrate in my life. There's so much to celebrate in this day.
Yeah.
And then watch it unfold as you hold that energy through the day. Things will come in for you to celebrate, for that to be a match. So that, I think that's just one of the most profound practices you can do, is deciding the energy you're holding for the day.
Yes. And speaking of energy of the day, Jamie just mentioned full moon in Aries.
Ah, yeah.
I'm a Cancer moon, so I'm a very emotional as well. And essentially I'm very sensitive to full moons and eclipses, as I think everyone is, but I'm very aware of it, I guess. So that makes perfect sense that I woke up like that.
Yeah.
It makes perfect. That's the best way to, as I woke up wanting to like force my way. And it felt so out of character for me that I was like really uncomfortable with myself, is really how I think I felt. And I didn't even know what way I was trying to go or anything. And that's, when you notice that, that's exactly what I did, is I noticed all of that and I was like, whoa, settle down, horsey. Let's just have a sit and think about this for a minute and settle ourselves and look at what's bugging me, and then use your techniques, whatever your particular techniques are, to try to return to a peace, and then set the intention to have that through the day.
Yeah, awesome. Should we give a few example stories of manifesting? Yeah,
I think so. We're going to give a couple of examples, and some of them are pretty magical. These are ones that were more magical that we noticed that happened to us, I think. And then we'll also talk about, you want to talk about the mixed one, and then and I'm talking about some of the like little mundane ones. Those ones are kind of interesting to me, the ones that happen in the span of 10 seconds and things like that.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I have 3 that I'd like to share.
Yeah, sure. Do you want to just go back and forth and then?
Yeah, I'll share one.
If we get too long, we'll cut it off. But
okay.
Yeah.
So I want to first share how I manifested my own experience on my birthday. So my birthday was on Sunday, October 17th, and I have had some negative experiences previously on my birthday. Things like people I was around sort of forgetting my birthday, or I had a very actually traumatic experience 5 years ago on my birthday with my ex-husband. And so I knew going into this birthday that I had that energy, and I was definitely trying to dissolve it, trying to feel it and dissolve it. And I was also trying to hold positive energy, a new story around my birthday, what my birthday could be. And I think that's also, when you were talking in the beginning, that's something that came to me, that when we're manifesting, it's so helpful to be present in part, so we're not taking in the energy of our old stories to what we're currently looking to manifest. And this is a perfect example that I ended up bringing old energy, old stories of my birthday experiences into the present, and I believe I ended up manifesting these old stories. So I was really holding two different energies around my birthday, some sort of negative, disappointing energy and more positive energy. And lo and behold, that is exactly what manifested. It was a mix. There was some really positive, wonderful things that occurred on my birthday, and then there were some more negative experiences on my birthday. And while I was experiencing the negative parts, I was thinking to myself, I thought I had cleared this. So I was aware that my own energy had created this situation, and I just hadn't cleared it enough. So, and also a way to see this is that I was pulling in certain situations so that I could more fully feel the emotions and energies around some of these negative situations in the past. So when I'm saying that I created something negative, it's sort of not the full story. What happened was I created really exactly what I needed.
Right, yeah.
Right?
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
Yeah.
The reason we say positive and negative is we're just trying to distinguish between things we felt bad about and things we felt good about. But feeling bad is the pathway to feeling good.
Yeah, so having some negative catalysts come in around my birthday, the meta perspective was, oh, look, I still have some energy here that I need to feel around this type of experience, and then I can clear it. And another thing that I think is super helpful in relationship with others is to realize we're always, whatever we experience with each other, we're always co-creating it. So you and I had some difficult interactions. They weren't too long. They lasted, it was not very long. But the understanding that we had co-created that situation. There was energy we were each holding that created that situation.
And I got lots of lessons out of all that too.
Yeah.
Right. It was both of us learning something.
And so anytime we believe we have created a negative manifestation, it's really just an opportunity to feel the feelings there, the energy, clear it, and most likely you will not experience that exact same situation again. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just tag along to that because it's in regards to her birthday. So I realized when I woke up that I wasn't going to have time to get her gift ready if she was here or we were going to get, she was going to go get her kids and she wanted me to come, and they were going to lunch and stuff like that. And I had to sort of just, I was like, I need to write her, I need to do these things that I wanted to do for her birthday. If I don't do it right now, I wouldn't be able to because we're going to the lake after that. So I basically told her to go ahead, go on without me. I'm about to get in the shower, and then I think I got in the bath. So I noticed she's like, "Oh no, take your time," and I'm like, shoot, she seemed in a rush. I thought she was totally gonna go without me. And then I'm like, I just sort of laid in the bath, and I did a little manifestation. I sort of said, I really feel I need to do this. I think it feels like I need to do this. I can help me just see the path, see the way to do this. Because I didn't want to tell her that I was doing anything for her birthday. I didn't want to. I'm not sure why, but the element of surprise was really important to me. She had made a comment that she wanted to walk down to get her mail and be astounded to see a letter from me. And if you've been watching the stream for a while, we've talked a little bit about the letter. So I wanted to have this element of surprise, make her think that I'm not doing anything. And then it was a Sunday, and anyway, I won't go into all of it, but so I'm laying in the bath, and I'm like, I know, I'll just lay here till she leaves. It's perfect. It's perfect. Don't say anything. Just it's gonna bother her. It's gonna bother her, but hopefully later I can say that is why I was just laying in the tub. You told me to take my time, and I did.
Yes.
But anyways, the reason I'm pointing all that out is because it's also your actions that you choose that lead to the manifestations. So like inspired action, I was inspired to go suddenly in the shower and choose to have a bath instead. These were inspired thoughts that usually the egoic mind would go, ooh, she's in a rush, or oh, whatever. But taking the inspired action, even though it seems a little like you might be ruffling some feathers sometimes, if your intention's pure, like if what you're trying to accomplish is pure and stuff, then you can start to notice that when you're taking the inspired action, it leads to the little proper perfect events. So then she left, and I worked on this stuff, and I asked for spirit for a sign. I said, can you show me a sign that this slight deception on my part, or that's how it sort of felt. I don't think it was deception because I didn't say anything. So I don't think it was deception, but it was this slight, like, I don't know, there was a shady quality to it. And I sort of, I felt that, and I was asking Spirit, I'm like, I had a little shady quality to this giving I'm trying to do. And I just asked for a sign that I'm doing the right thing. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm done. I walked out to the front to go put it in the mailbox, and there was a delivery man parked in front of the mailbox. And so this all happened within a span of an hour. I just asked for that sign, and for me, as soon as I looked up, I was like, I took a picture of it to show her later so I could tell the story. But ask for what you want, so you can ask for answers to questions as well, and watch the answer come right in. And so like you can almost check, and you don't have to say anything, right? It's all internal. You just have to be very conscious and aware of what you're doing, and just have a Q&A session with Spirit all day long. Now, in order to do that, you have to be very present. So that again goes back to that first part. In order for you to really have that open dialogue, you have to be very present, and you have to hold almost a meditative state throughout what you're doing. And so, but I hope, does that illustrate properly what I'm trying to say, do you think?
What's the summary of what you're sharing here?
The summary is that in a matter of an hour, I had a problem. Mm-hmm. I thought what the solution should be, manifested it without saying anything to anybody, and watched it come in, asked for confirmation from Spirit, and saw that also manifest right in front of my eyes. So It was sort of manifestation. It was like a chain of manifestations, mm-hmm. all in a row, that I was very consciously observing occurring as I was wanting them.
Because you had set an intention of being able to finish this birthday project for me, and then it all unraveled in a way that made that possible without you really initially knowing the how.
I never sat down and said, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Right? I just followed inspired action, which led to you being able to leave. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know I was trying to get her to leave until she left, and I said, oh yeah.
Perfect.
Of course that's what I should have done.
Yeah.
I didn't think to do it.
Yeah.
It occurred naturally in flow.
Right.
And then I observed that that's what I was manifesting.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. So you start to see the unconscious and how the unconscious is directing so much of everything that we're seeing as well.
Yes. Picking up on your intention and your vibes.
Picking up on everything.
Yeah.
It's everything, right?
Yes.
So, everything.
Yeah.
All the stuff that you're totally unaware of, like, so anyway.
And a little side note to that is that in relationship, we may have a bit of inspired action to do something that's going to be a catalyst for the other person. Oh. And you kind of not telling me what was going on and just staying in the bath, knowing that I wanted to leave and I'd asked you to come with me, was a little bit of a catalyst.
Yeah.
So
that's probably why it felt shady to me.
Yeah. So it's just interesting to understand that our higher selves are sort of orchestrating these situations in all relationships for us to feel what we need to feel. And that's a very recurring energy in my life of people sort of not coming through for me, that I think it's helpful for me to feel that and clear that, and then you may not provide that catalyst
right
in the future.
Right. Or I'll do the same thing,
but I won't be triggered.
It won't trigger you or
yes,
bother you.
Right, yeah. Exactly.
Either way of those will be fine, right? Because you'll be neutral to it.
Yeah. May I tell the plane flight manifestation story?
Absolutely.
Okay. This is, I think, a really exciting example of pretty much immediate manifestation in a way that was very, very powerful. So Sean flew to Nashville a week ago Sunday, a week prior to Sunday. And it's very difficult flying these days. I don't know if you've been in the airports recently. It's
not too bad. It's
yeah, I don't want to manifest that.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
There might be a little more wait times.
It's awesome because you get to go from here to there. It's awesome. And it's really, I don't want to deter people from traveling because it's fun.
Yeah.
And people are really isolated.
Yes, let's not energize that. Yeah. So the day before Sean's flight, we had received an email from Air Canada that said, please get to the airport at least 3 hours beforehand because going through customs and security can take a bit longer with all the COVID policies. So we were both aware of a 3-hour suggested arrival.
I arrived at, I think, 2 hours, 45 minutes. So I was a little late.
So he arrived there a little late. And then he was texting me, sort of giving me updates on how his progress to the gate was going, and it was not looking good.
It was looking terrifying.
It was looking like he was going to miss the flight.
But the whole time I was going, serenity now.
I surrender to any.
I'll either get on a plane or I won't. Right now. And
so, this was a bit triggering to me, in part because the last time he had flown to Nashville, there were 2 flights that were missed. And again, there's a lot going on at the airport. Before, when you were traveling, there were
a wizard flies precisely when he means to.
So I just snorted. So what happened was I got triggered. And actually, the first thought I had was, why didn't I ask Sean to get to the airport, say, 4 hours early, just to be careful? And it brought up a lot of uncomfortable feelings in me about how my default orientation is very people-pleasing, and maybe sometimes I don't speak what really would be helpful, because of fear of conflict or other people's responses. So it brought up this whole trunk of uncomfortable feelings in myself, and then also some frustrated feelings towards Sean.
Can I share, just to defend myself a little tiny bit?
There's no defense needed. You are perfect.
I'm not actually trying to defend. I'm just I like to give some context to how I could do that.
Yeah.
Or like, so. It's not so defensive. It's more of an excuse.
Okay. Well, let's call it what it is.
Yeah. When somebody says to me something like, I need you here at this time, my thought goes, I'll be there when I get there. And sure, I can try for that time.
And because you live so much in the present, time is
I don't see time.
Yeah.
The way I used to.
Yeah.
Anymore. It's almost like I used to believe in money.
Yeah.
And around the age of 13 or so, I was like, this is a joke.
Yeah.
And so I stopped believing in money. And then, but around 33, I saw the infiniteness of time for a few days. And then I was like...
Yeah, so showing up to an airport at a certain time is not super in alignment, really.
It doesn't make sense.
Orientation to life.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
So I have to sit back and like dip into the human 3D logical mind more than I tend to want to.
Yeah.
So I'll set an alarm or something like that, and I've been getting a lot better at it, and Tassel's been
So
a godsend helping me
better.
because I don't know how to. People would ask me for an appointment, and I would be like, we'll just talk when we talk.
There is no time.
They'd ask me for a one-on-one, and I'll be like, I'll talk to you when I talk to you. I don't know. What do you want? What do you want from me? And I couldn't fathom it for a while. So she's helped me a lot to be able to try to get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, and you've helped me a lot in letting go of some of my 3D time orientation.
Because I tend to not adhere to them.
Yeah, so it's been, I think we've helped each other. So just to get back to the manifestation story, so it looked like Sean was going to miss his flight. I got triggered with frustration with myself and some frustration with him, and my personality, my thinking mind wanted to run over to my computer and look at other flights and maybe even call Air Canada, because it usually takes a while to get through to them, to start seeing how we could get him on a different flight. I wanted to take action. And that's how I'm wired a lot. My personality always wants to take action in a crisis or any other situation. But my guidance said, hold on, Tassel. Hold your horses. Stay away from the computer. Feel your feelings right now. Just feel all of the feelings. And of course, I didn't want to feel all the feelings. They were so uncomfortable. I just wanted to fix the situation. I didn't want to feel the feelings at all. But the guidance was so strong to feel my feelings. So I felt my feelings. And it was really uncomfortable. There may have been some tears shed, probably. I felt all the feelings. And then I felt really guided to communicate some of what I was feeling to Sean. I hope not in a blaming, judgmental way, but just my experience has been really stressful, and I'm wondering, maybe we can do things differently in the future.
Yeah, and it's been helpful for me to balance, because I think she would say that she's overbalanced to the doing, and I'm overbalanced or to the planning.
Yes.
And time regimented, I think.
Yeah.
And then I'm overbalanced to the, I don't know what these words are.
So, and I think part of my life path in this incarnation is to speak the truth in a loving, gentle way. It's part of what my growth is. So I think the lesson of that experience for me was to feel all the feelings and then also speak the truth. And this is what gives me goosebumps and chills. Literally, it felt like a few seconds of us communicating and me speaking this truth to Sean, literally an email popped up on my computer that said, your Air Canada flight has been delayed 30 minutes.
I was also in the line, I said, thank you for this experience and the stress that I'm noticing. And I put my hands together and I said, I thank the Creator for all that I'm experiencing in this moment. I see some of the lessons, and I'm going to look at them further. Thank you so much. I would like to express that I have a desire to make this flight. If it could be delayed, specifically, is what I asked.
Oh, did you ask for that?
Yeah.
Oh, you asked for that too. Okay.
So, and then I asked for it to be delayed, and then I said, "Toma arigato."
So it's super interesting because I also did the same thing. I had the awareness to have thanks for the experience because I knew it was teaching me something. And I also decided that no matter what happened, if you arrived that day, if you arrived another day, that I was going to have a great day. Mm-hmm. I was releasing any needing of you to actually, get on that flight.
You can think of it this way too. Once you release all that and say, I'm going to have a great day, your great day
then manifested.
So I was the great day, or part of her great day.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that I'm your great, but I was part of your great day.
Yes.
So I have to make it.
Exactly.
Because you're going to have a great day.
Exactly. So there's a lot of things that happened here that I think are all important. It was feeling all the feelings of the discomfort. It was releasing, it was still holding the preference that you did make the flight. It was releasing the needing of that, however, and it was settling into an orientation of no matter what happens, I'm going to be fine, it's going to be great. And then another aspect, another affirmation that I said that I think is really powerful is I now release my own programming that has created this situation. And I think that helped me see how I'm a people pleaser, and if I had said something, it might have helped.
If I could summarize that in like 3 words, I wanted to say just surrender, acceptance, forgiveness. And that you surrender that yes, I'm feeling all this.
Yeah.
I accept it as a part of myself. I'm starting to see how it's helping me. I'm feeling grateful for it.
Yes.
I forgive myself and anyone who's been involved in it for any perceived or confused ideas that they've done something wrong.
Yeah.
And I end it with some gratitude.
Yeah. So it seems like we both did the same thing. You in the Toronto airport and me here in Nashville. And then we received this amazing manifestation.
When 2 souls are doing that and with the same intent the same purity
yes,
of
yes,
intent as well.
Yeah.
Nothing selfish about it, or like the universe will bend barriers and things will just happen. You know why they ended up delaying the flight?
They said because of cleaning. They had to clean
it.
The aircraft.
They had to clean it a little bit.
Yeah.
I believe somebody was sick.
Oh, okay.
And vomited or something.
Okay. And there's a few other details that I think are so interesting. So I got this email, 30-minute delay. I texted that to you. And then on your side, can you share what happened? Like all these lanes opened up and...
Oh, yeah. I don't even know what happened. So I'm standing there and I have like 100 people at least in front of me or something like that. And I'm like... I'm not gonna make this. There's no way to make the flight. Then I did all the prayer and stuff. So then it was delayed. While we were on the phone, we just talked through the little conflict or a little bit of, sort of
honesty about what was happening. Yeah.
Yeah. She was not pleased that I arrived earlier. Because I had basically said, had I arrived at 3 hours
earlier, yeah,
I would have made it.
Right.
So we had that little honest conversation, and then as that ended, the delay came in.
The delay came in.
So now I'm in the line. I'm still okay. I'm like, okay, the delay. I think I'll definitely make it. I'll definitely make it. But then the line started to seem a little slow. All of a sudden, like a whole bunch of people just went somewhere. I didn't see where they went.
And so you said someone called you over to an empty...
Then I get to the front of the line. There's like 10 booths with lines in each one. And then this person just comes and gets me and walks me over to this far away one that had one dude in front of me. So I ended up skipping. And earlier in that thing, I was skipping people all over the place without doing it. I was just going and somehow skipping in front of them. I'd be looking back and be like, that's the person that was 20 people ahead of me. And so they took me to the line that had just one guy instead of 6 or 7. And then I just ran to the flight and I was the second last person on board.
And what actually happened?
Oh, and at the border,
yeah,
they didn't even say anything.
They just sort of moved you through. Go on.
Be gone with you, wizard.
And so the email said that the flight was going to leave 30 minutes late, and it actually ended up leaving only 18 minutes late.
Yeah.
But it feels what happened is the universe gave you exactly the right amount of time for you to make the flight.
Right.
And not holding anyone else
The doors closed basically as I was sitting down, basically.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
And so I think both of us were just sort of taking in the magic of what had just happened, how this had manifested. And as if I didn't need more confirmation of the magic, when I looked at your new arrival time to Nashville, the new arrival time was 11:11. And I just felt like that was the cherry on top of this manifestation Sunday.
And we've had a lot of these little Sundays.
Yeah.
We've had a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
This was a big one, and one that was really seemed quite grand
it just the immediacy of the manifestation
to me, yeah,
struck me.
To me, what struck me was the immediacy and the size, like what needed to happen.
Yeah, airplanes just changing their times.
Right. All these other people.
Lanes opening up magically. Things we're not in control of at all.
All the other passengers were perfectly delayed also.
Yes, for what was going on in their lives. Yes, just this grand orchestration that happens.
It's sort of mind-boggling.
And to me, this kind of falls under a specialty category of manifesting, in a way, how to manifest something positive in a tricky situation.
Right, yeah.
I mean, the overall manifestation would have been, oh, of course we want you to arrive, but then it looked like it wasn't happening. Oh, how can we manifest something as positive as possible out of this sticky situation? Mm-hmm. And what you said, surrender, acceptance, gratitude, and taking any inspired action. And I had the inspired action to feel all my feelings and to communicate to you.
Yeah.
And I said to you afterwards, I wonder if I had done the same thing on the previous trip to Nashville, where there were 2 flights that had been missed, maybe that there would have been a different outcome.
Yeah, I wonder about really things like that too. I wonder what I was doing.
Yeah.
Or how that happened.
Yeah.
Because how does someone do that?
So, what time are we at? Is it almost?
I think we could. It's almost an hour. I think that's probably pretty good.
Yeah, we do have more stories, but maybe we'll save those for.
I'll give just one brief one, just really brief. I wanted to put something that's very mundane.
Great.
Very mundane, very basic, very just between you and sort of your environment. I lost my headphones. My headphones are like $300 Audio Technicas that I really, really like. Not so much because of the branding or anything, but primarily because I like to listen to stuff. And when I can't escape, sometimes I like to escape. I get really flustered. So I really wanted headphones, whether they were those or not. I looked in the car. I have a little bit of a panic around it because I've just always had lots of headphones. So if I was at my house, it'd be fine. But I'm here and we don't have the stuff, and I don't really have a lot of money to go buy these things. And so I started to have that panic, and then I was like, wait a second, just settle down. Like, you're gonna find your headphones, right? You're gonna find your headphones. It's fine. I found acceptance with that. I forgave myself for panicking. I like to walk around thinking that I don't experience these things, right? And often I don't, to a large degree, but I do. I still do. So I panic in those things, and I forgive myself for that, and then I basically start to look again, and I go into the car, close the door, and then I'm like standing, I look up at the stars, and I just sort of say, can you just tell me where it is, please? And I just heard door, and so I just said, and then I went, door? And I opened up, and it was right in the door. So...
and you wouldn't have really heard the guidance had you been really distracted in your thinking mind about, I've lost them, how am I going to replace them?
Yeah. And
it was being present that brought you
and you just ask.
Answer. Right.
Just ask them.
Yeah. Ask for help.
Sometimes there's a delay. It depends on sort of the vibration you're at. So if you're asking in a negative state and stuff, it's harder to hear the higher guidance. So, because you remember, the negative entity works from the self. It doesn't consult the higher guidance, because they work in hierarchy, and they're trying to control. They would try to control their guidance, more or less, right? Is the way to look at that. So on the positive path, you want to ask for guidance, and they want to give it to you, but they can only answer calls for it, and they'll give you anything that won't infringe on your experience. And the door thing, I knew that I'd find it. I was so certain they're not gonna. That's not an infringement to then tell me where it is. I know I'm gonna find it, and
well, you've asked for assistance,
right? And I asked for assistance, as well as there was no larger lesson that I had to jump over first.
Yeah.
So that's the only other time that they'll sort of withhold that stuff. Or I say they'll. It depends how you frame it. You could think of it as yourself. It's your subconscious, higher self, guides, however that resonates. But that's the only time they'll hold answers back. So
yeah,
you can ask for anything, and if they don't really give a clear answer, that's okay. Maybe you'll see a sign that feels like it's an answer, and yeah.
And a couple days ago, we did a live stream on advanced manifestation techniques, and we really just outlined basically 10 techniques of manifestation. And I feel like this video is a little more nuanced, some extra tips around manifesting.
Yeah, I hope it didn't come across like we were just talking about ourselves and stuff. I don't think it did. But I hope it's clear. We're just trying to illustrate some of the ways that we found effective to like go within and notice all the stuff that's happening, and just really pay attention.
Yeah. So in the answer to the title of this video, how to know if your manifestations are working, is to be very present and really observe, almost like a scientist or a detective, what is coming into my reality and what energy, feelings, thoughts am I holding or was I holding about what's coming in. Mm-hmm. And you will very likely see a 1-to-1 correlation. And one of the examples we gave today was around my birthday, how I could really see I was holding a mixture of energy, sort of more positive, more negative, and that is exactly what I experienced. So when we take this observer role in what's coming in and what energy was I holding, we can really see the continual, consistent outcomes of the vibration that we're sending out. And then this can really build our faith and our empowerment that we truly are calling in whatever energy we are holding. And then, as we said earlier, we can be very mindful about what energy do I want to hold. And I talked about, setting your energy every morning before you do anything. What energy am I holding for the day? And you will see that play out for you in that day.
Yeah. I think that's a great place to end.
All right. Excellent.
Thank you everyone for watching. If you liked it, feel free to like the video. We'd like to hear comments or questions as well. If you have any, leave them in the comments. Thank you everyone for watching. I'm glad you guys liked the Gandalf. A wizard arrives precisely when he's meant to. I knew some people would get it. I'm glad it landed. Other than that, we'll see you on. We have some videos recorded, so we'll be launching those or releasing those. And then other than that, we'll see you on Friday, which we're hoping to have a guest on with us.
Yeah, we won't be live on Friday because
we're going to do a premiere because I'll be in the air. I'll be in the air, so it's going to be like a pre-recorded.
But it'll be recorded.
But it'll be a premiere, so you can come on chat, and Tassel will be in the chat.
On the chat, yes.
That's the plan.
Yeah, so it will be live in that aspect.
So live at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. So much love to everyone.
Thank you. Take care.